Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to show you a really cool way of playing and interfacing with scales in such a way that it will probably allow you to see the fretboard and to see the actual scale you're using at a level that might be a little deeper than the one you're currently at. And some people might call this a shortcut, actually. I hate that word, I don't believe in them. That's quite an unpopular view here on YouTube. Everybody loves a shortcut here, but the truth is that eventually you have to put the work in. And eventually what you want to do is be able to see every scale on the whole fretboard, on every string, completely, absolutely freely. So basically breaking free of all these patterns that we might be using today and we might have used other times. The patterns are a way to get there. And sometimes though, there's a gap between where you're at, maybe you know a couple of patterns, and where you want to get to, which is the whole thing under complete control, and it can be discouraging. Whereas this method I'm showing you today allows you to kind of tap your foot into those holy waters of knowing the whole thing, and you'll see what I mean in a second. This thing we're going to show today works with every scale system, so cage system, 3 notes per string, 4 notes per string, whatever you want to pick, it will work. We'll demonstrate it with 3 notes per string today. And of course it works with every scale out there. We'll do a major scale to keep things simple, but you can certainly use it with any other scale, no matter how complex it is. When we look at a scale system, we are bounded by what the guitar is, which is 6 strings tuned the way they are and basically built the way it's built. Now I know there are alternative tunings and guitars with more strings, and we won't get into that today. But let's assume for just a second that we have an infinite number of strings and they're all tuned the same way. They're all tuned in fourths. So we'll disregard the fact that, you know, third and second string are tuned differently for now. And we're going to actually look at the 3 notes per string system. If we were to lay it all out on a bunch of strings, we'll see a repeating pattern. And that repeating pattern will be, let me turn that on, like an open position. I call this 1, 2, 4, but open, right? And it will happen 3 times. And then there will be 2 fingerings of the same 1, 2, 4, but closed. So with no extra fret between the first 2 fingers, like this. Now this sounds a bit weird because I'm pretending that the strings are all tuned the same. And then after these 2, we would have 2 of another fingering, which is index, ring finger, and pinky. If I had more strings, I would play 1 more of these, and then I would just start over again. So let's repeat it. And I can play it anywhere. I would go 3 open positions, close in with this finger here, and then start again with these 2. Now, I'm out of strings to demonstrate it, but I can just start now from the 6th string with 2 of the ring fingers. And then it would be followed by 3 of the open position. And then bring in this finger and keep going. And now I'm out of strings, I can come back up here and start with those 2 ring fingers, and then it would be 3 of these. Now, these sound a little weird, and the reason is that the 3rd and 2nd string on guitar are tuned a little differently. They're 1/2 step shorter. And so we kind of have to deal with that. And the way we do it is simply that anytime a fingering falls on from the 3rd to the 2nd string, we're gonna have to move it all up 1 fret. That's it. So if I were playing a real position now with my only 6 strings that I've got, it would be something like this. We're gonna have 3 of the open fingerings. I'm going to close my first finger now, close it in, closer to the middle finger. And then I can't just repeat it underneath, I have to move it up 1 fret. And then I continue with whatever's left, which was the ring finger, like this. Move up and continue on my merry way. Let me demonstrate another position for you. The 4th position, we'll get to that in another video why it's called the 4th position, but it goes like this. It starts with the last of the open fingerings, then the 2 closed ones, then it switches to the ring finger, and now it should be another one of these ring fingers, but because I'm moving down to the 2nd string, I have to move it all up 1 fret. And then I'm back to the open ones. So I'm still doing the last of the open ones, bring it in, switch to the ring finger, I just have to move up one fret to continue the chain. I'm going to demonstrate one more for you. Let's start with this one, which begins with the 2 ring fingers. Now I have to play 3 of the open ones, but the last one of them falls onto the 2nd string, so I have to move up one fret and then continue. And these are 3 positions of the scale of C major, and I'm going to stop right there. Of course, there will be 7 of them, which we won't get into today. And as a matter of fact, we're going to do today the whole video with just one little position, which is the main position, the one that starts with the root of the major scale, which is C. So we're going to start on the 8th fret of the 6th string, and the first 2 strings are 2 of the open ones. And then we close in and do 2 of the middle finger ones. And then we switch to the ring finger and bring it up one fret because it falls on the 2nd. Again. Okay, so this is our position which we'll work on. Now, if I know the whole thing, if I know all 7 positions, I can just play them as I learn them. But what if you don't know them and you want to get a feel for how it is to command the whole fretboard? Well, that's what today's video is about. And I'm sorry for the long intro, but you do need to know the idea of the patterns and the repetition and all that. We're now at the point where we know one position of the major scale with 3 notes per string. And we would like to be able to move it across the fretboard, but we don't know the other 6. We haven't learned them. And I know some of you know them, but pretend it's a scale you haven't practiced yet. Pretend it's a system you haven't practiced yet. What can I do? Well, if I understand that the 6 strings I see on the fretboard, very similarly to how we write music, where we only see 5 lines, it's really only a fraction of an infinite number of strings or of lines on a music sheet. And we just basically accessing those areas that we're interested in at that moment. So what if I pretend that my 6th string here is a 5th string? Stay with me for a second, right? So I know that my position on the 6th string starts with 2 open fingerings. I can pretend for a second that my 5th string is my lowest string. And all I have to do is find the same note C, which is on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and play my scale just as I always had. So I still do 2 of the open ones, switch to the closed one. I just have to be mindful of that 2nd string. Remember to move up one fret. And now I'm out of strings, right? I'm playing the same thing. And the same fingering, the only difference is when I'm moving up one fret. And now you might be asking, well, what happens to the 6th string? Well, the 6th string will have to adapt to the series that we have. It was 3 open ones, 2 middle fingers, and 2 ring fingers. So if I'm only starting with 2 open ones, it means that the top one has to be another open one. Right? I'm going back, I'm playing my 2 open ones, there's got to be one more. And that's my position. And in doing so, I've discovered what would be a different position of the scale. Okay? If it doesn't make complete sense yet, don't worry about it. I'm going to do one more for you, or whatever, however many necessary. As you know, I don't really focus on video length, which I probably should. So since we're here, you want to help me make more of these videos and maybe get some more views, because it is important after all. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. It really helps. And of course, leave a comment. Now let's pretend that my strings start on the 4th string. So my 4th string will become my 6th. And so I can find the C on the 4th string, which is the 10th fret, and again play the same thing I played here, but on the 4th string. So 2 open ones, and then move to the middle finger little position, but I have to move it up one fret because it falls onto the 2nd string. Now, of course, I run out of strings pretty quickly, but again, I don't have to worry about it because I know that before I hit those 2 open ones, there's going to be another open one, and before the open ones, there's a ring finger one. And so now I know that if I go down like this, when I come back, I'll have one more open one and one with the ring finger. because I'm still following the same pattern that I started with. I'm gonna do one more for you. I'm gonna start on the C here on the third string. So we're gonna go pretty low now and pretend that the third string is my sixth string. I'll play one open one. The next open one, I have to remember to switch to 1 fret higher for the second string. But I'm still doing this. And then bring the index finger in, like I always have, for this next section. I'm out of strings, of course, but I can still work my way back to another open one, and then 2 of the ring fingers. And of course, this is another position of the 3 notes per string. So it makes complete sense once you get it. I understand and realize that in the beginning it can be quite overwhelming, but if you just stick to it, it will work, okay? So here's the little exercise you can do. First of all, get very familiar with our basic major scale. Okay, also become familiar with the fact that while we can only cover 6 strings, there's a 7-string repeating pattern of 3 open fingerings, 2 with the index finger brought in, and 2 with the ring finger. Okay, this is for the 3 notes per string system. If you find any other system, they will have their own parameters and their own repeating patterns, and that's what you do. Once you understand that, just keep in mind that the second string on the guitar brings everything up 1 fret, and now you're free to start whatever position you learned, in this case, this one, from any string, pretending that's the 6th string basically, and then you can fill in the rest of the strings above by following the pattern you always knew, which is 3 open ones, 2 closed ones, and 2 ring fingers, or however you want to call it. A little thing you can try is put a little loop on of a single major chord, pick a key. I'm going to stay in C major for this, and think of a string. Go, okay, second string. Wow, second string is pretty low, so let me hit the C here. And I only have these 2 strings to start my pattern on, but then I know that behind it there will be another open one, and then the ring fingers, and then the first of the middle fingers. Once I understand that, I can just improvise. In that key, and slowly see the whole section of the fretboard at once. And then once I'm done with that, I can try something else and something else. As I said before, this is not a shortcut really, because eventually you have to put the work in and learn the scale. Free of any position, but in the meantime, it will give you access to a lot. A final thing you want to think about, this is only an exploration of learning 1 fingering of a 7 fingering or patterns system. What if you knew 2 of them? Or 3, right? If I know how to start from my root C on any string, imagine if I also knew how to start the E position. Now I don't even have time to play a few notes. I already see an E here, and if I know how to start it from there, but then here's another C, and here's another E. And so you see, it's incredibly fast to fill in the whole fretboard with basically, I mean, I think if you know 3 positions, you can probably go through the fretboard faster than you can actually play. Of course, again, the final goal is to know it all. Anyway, I took this video as a little one-on-one lesson, a little one-on-one conversation, so there will be no edits unless I'm making some strange noises, or the microphone is. And so I hope you enjoyed this format. Please let me know below. I would like to go back to a more conversational style, and I know YouTube doesn't like that. So if you're willing to listen through the whole video, maybe a bit longer videos, a bit less stressful for you as you listen, if you enjoyed that, please do let me know. I'm finding the current YouTube constant full blast style that is rewarded on this platform to be a little tiring sometimes, and maybe not as useful. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you very soon. Thank you.